Start off the 5-minute round. Mr. Macer.
Thank you, Chair. Minister, you mentioned cost of living. 7 out of 10 provinces oppose your government's plan to increase the carbon tax by 23%. 70% of all Canadians oppose your government's plan to increase the carbon tax by 23%. Do you still plan to hike the carbon tax on April 1st? Yes or no?
As the Supreme Court said in its ruling 2 years ago, it's not a tax. It's a pricing mechanism. It doesn't go back into general revenue of the government. It's revenue neutral, and all of the money collected goes back. But yes, we will move ahead with the increase of carbon pricing, as well as the rebate on April 1st.
Since you were elected, can you name one federal policy that was opposed by 7 provincial governments?
Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Since you were elected, can you name one federal policy that was opposed by 7 provincial governments?
I could probably think of a few, but you're looking for, I'm not sure how this is relevant to the estimate C,
well,
but perhaps you can specify.
It has to do with you, talking about carbon pricing, and there was only one policy that was rejected by 7 provinces, and it's your failed carbon policy, Minister.
Many provinces oppose many things we're trying to do on the environment, which is not a reason why we shouldn't be doing them. Many provinces opposed impact assessment. They imposed the fact that we should look at climate change when looking at the impacts of projects. I profoundly disagree with that. They opposed the fact that we should include Indigenous nations when we do the impact assessment of project. I profoundly disagree with that. That's a clear example of where many provinces, more provinces than on pricing actually, were opposed to it, and we decided to continue going forward with it.
Minister, the Chiefs of Ontario represent over 130 First Nations. They say that your carbon tax is making life unaffordable. Are they wrong?
There are many different views within Indigenous communities in Canada on carbon pricing. Some of them support it, some of them don't.
So 130 First Nations, they say your carbon tax is making life unaffordable. Are they wrong?
As I said, there are more than 40 nations, Indigenous nations in Canada. Some of them support carbon pricing, some of them don't.
Despite Canadians asking right across this country, 7 provinces, 130 First Nations in Ontario, 70% of Canadians, it's very clear that you're just not listening to Canadians, Minister, when it comes to this carbon tax.
Elections where carbon pricing was, in fact, your own party during the last election ran on a campaign to put in place carbon pricing. So we listened to Canadians. We said we would do that in the 2021
I'm talking about
election,
today, Minister.
and we're doing it. We got elected on a platform to put in place a pricing mechanism.
You promised not to raise it as well, Minister. So
that's simply not true. That's simply not true.
Hey, we'll move forward.
I think we're sort of getting sidetracked. I mean, I think the points have been made, but go ahead. Go ahead, Mr. Macer, please.
Minister, when was the last time you filled up your car with gas?
It's a well-known fact that I don't own a car. It's public knowledge. My service vehicle is a fully electric vehicle, as are the vehicles of many cabinet ministers now.
So have you ever owned a personal vehicle?
I've never owned a personal vehicle,
so
which is also a well-known fact.
So you're increasing the price of gas without personally understanding the consequences of your policy. That's. I can't believe
this
that.
may come as a shock
to you,
but
I wasn't asking
people,
a question.
I know
it was a
people
statement.
who own cars. I know
it was a statement.
This may sound incredible, but I know people, and I speak with them on a regular. I have family members, brothers and sisters who own cars, and I speak with them on a regular basis. Believe it or not. I know this sounds surprising, but it's true, and you can verify that information.
Minister, you stated, and I quote, "The government does not measure the annual amount of emissions that are directly reduced by federal carbon pricing," end quote. Why are you increasing the carbon tax if you don't measure the direct results?
The question was about the movement of individuals in Canada, including cabinet ministers. As you know, or you should know, there is an annual document that is published by the Government of Canada, which is the greenhouse gas inventories, which is a detailed document of where we measure the emissions by sector, by province. It's been going on for I don't know how many years, probably more than 20 years now, usually around April. So there was one last year, there will be another inventory this year. I'd be happy
Minister,
for the department.
I guess I asked you to-
Malheureusement, on doit s'arrêter là pour passer à...
Unfortunately, we must stop there.